T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Hip, hip. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. We're back at it for 2 hours of zany sports talk with the usual gang of malcontents. That's our viewers, the Rod Squad. You got me here. And in moments, Kevin the Medium is going to be joining us. Mike Kelly coming up in hour 2. Former Eagles quarterbacks coach, Redskins scout, head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and now the commissioner of the reinvented Continental Football League. But yes, we're going to have fun for the next 2 hours. It's been a bit of a heavy time for a lot of people, a heavy 24 hours. I dabbled into the political conversation today, but only on my commentary. I'm not going to go too far with that on this program here today. You can go read it at rodpedersen.com. There he is, Kevin Hughes from the Hughes Sports Podcast, and also Kevin the Medium joining us. How you doing, my guy?
I am doing amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and your microphone's working, so it's a win. We're ready to go. Are you ready to go and have some fun?
I feel like I just scored a touchdown.
You did. We all did. Kevin's microphone is working. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do things here. The Quick Six Show topics. And I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball at you, Kev, but I know that you can handle it. The big story, you're out there in Western Canada. I'm here in the USA, September 11th. That's where I want to start. And I don't know how much it's been observed by where you are. A lot of observations here by the sports teams, obviously the governments, 9/11. Where were you 24 years ago today? The reason I'm opening with that is to just honor the 2,977 people who lost their lives that day in terrorist attacks across America. And I'll tell you mine. I said we're going to have fun. This ain't fun. But I want to honor those people. And I was at, Kevin, the Rams fundraising breakfast that day. And I was across the eggs from Dan Farthing, the strength and conditioning coach of the Rams, and the coach, Frank McChrystal. And I had just left my morning radio run. And I was like, hey, guys, did you hear that a plane went into the World Trade Center in New York? Oh, no, we didn't. What kind of plane? I don't know. I think like a 2-seater Cessna or something. Like, what would it be? And then, of course, the news coverage unfolded and everything. And from there, I went over to the football facility because I was the voice of the Rough Riders at the time. And we were all crowded around the television. This was September 11th, 2001. We had a player, Rocky Henry. You might remember him, Kev. Lloyd Rocky Henry, number 82. His uncle was the security guard in the lobby of one of those World Trade Centers. He got out. But 2,977 people lost their lives that day, and it changed everything. That was a game week for us. We were with the Rough Riders supposed to play at Calgary. Instead of flying, we bussed, and we ended up staying there for a week, and it was obviously chaos across the world. That was my September 11th, 24 years ago today. I want to honor those people. What's your memory of it?
I was living in Kamloops, British Columbia at the time. And I remember I was driving to work and I stopped at the Petro-Canada on top of the hill in Kamloops. And I remember the young guy behind the counter as I was grabbing my coffee had tears in his eyes. And I'm like, you okay? And he goes, you haven't heard the news? And I was like, no. And he goes, somebody flew a plane into the World Trade Towers. And I was like, what? Of course, I went to work. I heard all about it. I didn't see it until I got home at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And when I saw it, I'll never forget that feeling. I get goosebumps. Being the medium guy, I get goosebumps when I think of it and seeing that plane hit the building. And it's a vision I will never get out of my head. It was the day that changed our world. Changed the way we fly, changed the way we go through security. It changed everything in our world. And I'm glad you're honoring it because it is important.
Well, and this opening segment is actually one of the shortest ones of the show. It's only like 7-8 minutes long. We'll get into the actual sports, the fun stuff after the first break. But you talked about how it changed how we travel. Up until then, because I'd been doing the Rough Riders for a few seasons by then, our PR staff and travel there is either entering the airport or leaving the football facility and just going, their boarding passes, let's say Air Canada were player A, player B, player C, player D. And then if we had to make a change last minute, some guy got hurt or some guy didn't show up, it was like, player F, player G, and then player A, player, because their names weren't on the boarding pass.
Right?
They're like, here's 44 boarding passes. You decide how you want to. It was never the same again. You
No,
know, and I look at that was 24 years ago, man. The big segment of our audience are young enough. They didn't know life before this.
No, I had a very good friend of mine that was actually, he lived in Calgary here, and he was at the airport when all this went down. He was ready to board a plane, and all of a sudden they just saw cancel, 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 cancel. And they were all like, what's going on? Of course, TVs came on and they started watching, and they were all quickly escorted out of the airport. He could quite easily have been in the air at that time, give or take a few hours. Terrifying when you think of it. He still has his boarding pass for that day. He's kept it. Just one of those things where it's like changed our lives.
Well, it was a Tuesday because a good friend of mine, Nathan Zafar, who lives in Florida now, but he did live in New York. His uncle is the Hall of Fame writer, Bob Hughes, greatest football writer ever from the Leader Post. But his nephew, Nathan Zafar, is a good friend of mine, and he said he was out Monday night having some wobblies watching Monday Night Football, and the next morning he was hungover, and he's like, I'm not going to go into the office today. I'm not going to. His office was in the World Trade Center, right? I mean, so going out and having a few too many beers watching Monday Night Football saved his life. So anyways, I think that, just so you know, I do have CFL Week 15. We have breaking news coming up. We're going to make our picks here, Kev. I know you've already made yours on the Hughes Sports Podcast, so you'll be ready for that. Week 2 in the NFL kicks off tonight. We've got some scintillating NHL stuff, but I'm happy to report, Kevin works on our staff doing sales here with the RP show. People are really digging this Hour 1 Canadian sports, Hour 2 U.S. sports, as we air daily on Game Plus Television, but beginning September 29th, go to the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network out of Las Vegas. They're only going to carry Hour 2 beginning September 29th, so I can bring on my vast playbook of Canadian sports friends, and that includes Kevin, as you see, a BC Lions fan, and we somewhat irrational. We won't hold that against him, but also a Vancouver Canucks fan. What? Is that an insult?
Hold that against me? One of the greatest teams ever to play the game.
Okay. See, the irrational fan from the Hughes Sports Podcast. So I will tell you before we go any further, the poll question, and give people some time to think about it. I don't want to spring on all of you, including you, Kev. The poll question for EMJ Marketing is, will Sidney Crosby finish his career as a Pittsburgh Penguin? I'm seeing all kinds of things on social media about if he goes to Montreal, this. If he goes to Vegas, this. Where's he going to play? What line is he going to be on? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think he's going anywhere, but that is the poll question. So we do have some NHL stuff that we're going to be discussing on the program today, because that's what we do every day on the RP show, and we'll return after this brief pause here on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and 1700 Mission Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
RP Show continues. Be part of the team. Grab your RP Show merch now at rodpedersen.com. Click on RP Store there. And are you craving the famous Greek ribs everyone in Moose Jaw is talking about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. Dine in, pick up, or order online at themadgreekeatery.com. Warriors home Friday night. Preseason action to the Blades tonight. God's team, the Regina Pats, welcome the Prince Albert Raiders. There's our junior hockey report for the Mad Greek. I just invented it, Kev. Okay. I'm ringing the bell because of breaking news. You being the CFL guy, hour one being Canadian sports. Yeah. This announced today, Zach Collaros is out of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers lineup for Friday night's matchup with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The veteran quarterback remains sidelined with a neck injury suffered in last week's 21-13 loss to Sask. Chris Strevler gets the start. That's the first of the slate of Week 15 games. We'll get to all the others in a second. Do the Bombers have a chance at Hamilton, who, by the way, the Bombers have lost 2 in a row? They're 6-6 without Zach Collaros.
Great question. I think the Bombers are better with Collaros, obviously. Do they have a chance? Of course, it's football. Any given Sunday, or in this case, any given Friday. What will they win? No, I think Bo is. I've been watching him really closely this season, and I'm amazed at how he's picking apart defenses. It's like he's taken his game to a different level, and he's not just throwing those bombs like he was trying in Calgary constantly. It was just long ball, long ball, long ball. Now I see him, and he's actually running, which he hardly ever does. And he's taking those 7-8 yard passes and just picking them apart, looking like a young quarterback. It's fun to watch.
He's running more than he ever has in the games that I've seen him play, and we've been watching him since 2014. But I'll say this, Kev, you know me very well, and you've lived in Calgary a long time watching Bo. Like, you know that we don't get along. I've had people that know us both say you guys are too much alike. That's why you don't get along. I'm like, oh, I'd hate to be like him. But I'll tell you what, count us out, then watch. Sort of like the Cody Fajardo mantra before the 2023 Grey Cup. F you, just watch. Right? That is what I think is the reason for the renaissance of Bo Levi's career.
Oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and wouldn't you? You were the king here in Calgary. I mean, they put a crown on your head, and you couldn't do anything wrong. And then you were benched. Do you remember sitting at my house when he walked on the field that day? It was like Rocky walking to the ring. It was insane.
I got a Darth Vader vibe of it when he walked on to start the fourth quarter of that play. My son.
Well, that's awesome. But I have a
still don't
question
think.
for you.
Fire away.
Being how long you've been calling football, was the Claris hit dirty?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
Not at all. And no. Who's saying that it is?
There's a lot of Rider fans out there that are, Bomber fans out there saying, oh, Riders have had it out for Claris. Every time we play him, Claris gets hit. Well, maybe you should protect your quarterback a little bit more. That guy came in untouched. He didn't get blocked. It was a good football hit. Jake was bringing it up on our podcast. If that was 6 years ago, 7 years ago, that wouldn't have even been a flag. There would be no penalty. They could have reviewed it all they want. That was no penalty. That was just a good old football hit. Was it helmet to helmet? A little bit, sure. But illegal now? Yes.
Kind of. That's the way. I didn't play football. You did. Are you not taught to hit the quarterback that way?
Yes. If it was dirty, he would have put his head down and came in head first. He didn't do that. He came in chest first, and it was just a solid rock. As we used to say, you got your bell rung. That was what it was called back then.
From John Ohm, says, Winnipeg fans are saying, dirty hit. Give me a break. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes, and he says, to honor Kevin the Medium's appearance today, I watched the video of the Joe Cap Angelo Mosca scrap before the show. Is there a tie-in to you on that? I'm missing something.
Are you calling me old? What the hell is that?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the tie-in there? It is what it is. Other than maybe it happened in Vancouver. Anyways, moving on. Speaking of your BC Lions, I don't want to get hung up on just one game here. So you got Ottawa there. I thought you'd be upset that I had BC picked 6th in my power rankings, and you said that that's higher than they deserve, the BC Lions.
You know, I had the absolute privilege. I was driving home from Saskatchewan on Friday, so I got to listen to that game with our good friends, the Moj and Caravetta. Boy, I miss listening to the radio. As a kid, I used to listen to the radio all the time for games. But I tell you, we'll talk about self-destructing and just the Lions this year just seem to know how to lose. They have it in their hand. They had a team that's won 3 games down by 30-16, and they blew it. And I mean, you can come up with all kinds of excuses, bad call by the ref, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is, you lost the game. Unacceptable.
Yeah. Well, why? Nathan Work had another good night.
Undisciplined. Just undisciplined. Stupid penalties at the wrong times. Was there some bad calls? Sure. But don't put yourself in that position. Just undisciplined football. Broken coverage. I watched a lot of the replays when I got home because I was so angry, being the irrational fan that I am. And just got me angry. I had to turn it off and just stop. It was like, holy. Am I done with the team? I'm never done with my team. I'll always represent. But man, it's a frustrating team to watch.
Well, tied for 4th with Edmonton. You each have 5 wins. So it's going to be a fun final third of the regular season, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine if BC missed? Could you imagine? I had them picked to be 3rd. There's a very good chance they'll finish last.
Well, and I mean, Winnipeg could finish last. Like, they're only 2 points above us, 1 game up. It's really, I mean, Saskatchewan, Calgary, and then the rest. As you know, I make my picks every week. This is the worst year I've ever had since we started doing our podcast. You can't pick it this year.
But that's what makes it fun. By the way, the way with Kev, Thursday Night Football tonight in the NFL, Washington and Green Bay. I'll be talking more about that later. We got some NHL talk coming your way. But right now, hour 1, Canadian sports. There's a doubleheader on Saturday in the CFL. Edmonton at Toronto, followed by Montreal at Sask. I said we would do our picks here for Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn, so let's do that. We're a sports bar at Pump Jacks. We both have Hamilton to beat Winnipeg, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. We both have BC to beat Ottawa, correct?
With my fingers crossed and a prayer up to the football gods.
Well, you got a sprinkle of Jesus coming your way in Toronto on Saturday. Cody Fajardo at the Argos. I'm taking Edmonton because I always pick Edmonton and Cody. And I'm usually right because of Cody. I'll take Edmonton to win Saturday at Toronto. How about you?
I'm the same. You had a saying last year: death, taxes, and Cody Fajardo winning. It's still the same.
I've been saying it for a long time. And Montreal at Sask. I want to finish this segment on the CFL before we move on to other leagues and other topics. This one is like the crap game of them all. It won the poll for Canada's Game of the Week, but that's just Rider fans stepping up because they're going nuts right now with their team 10-2, and well, they should. This one's a formality. Does Montreal even need to show up?
How much is the Riders going to win by? But again, this could be a trap game for the Riders going in thinking, now we got this, and not showing up. It could be a trap game. The Riders haven't fallen for that this year. The Riders have showed up pretty much every single game, except when they play Calgary. I don't know what it is about the Calgary defense that is able to shut the Riders down. If I'm a coach, I'm watching those tapes over and over. Do they still have tapes? Over and over and over, and figuring out what Calgary does.
But you're taking Sask.
I'm taking, of course.
Okay, those are our picks, everybody, for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Kirk writes in from Toronto on the Western Dodge text line. He says, hey, Rod, it's official that Nick Arbuckle will start Saturday against Edmonton on John Candy Day, and I have to say I'm relieved. Go Scullers. Well, I love that it's John Candy Day at BMO Field, and let's talk about that Argos MLSE Bills deal that was announced on Tuesday. I'm sitting here going, number one, what can it hurt? But number two, what are the Argos really going to get out of this? You've been following it. You're in Canada, and we spent almost the whole show on it yesterday. What did you think when you heard it?
At first, I was like, what's the big deal? Like, Bills have played, 5-6 games up in Toronto over the years. What does Toronto get out of it as far as promoting their club? I think they get that much. I don't think they get a whole lot out of it except promoting the NFL. It's one of those, I don't think anything's going to change until every team in the CFL is owned by an individual that loves this game and wants to promote this game. MLSE isn't going to spend a ton of money promoting the Argonauts. Why would they? They've got all those other teams. They make the least amount of money for them. Same here in Calgary. Let's face it, the Stamps on the list of teams owned by CSIC make the least amount of money for them. Why would they spend the money on that? They don't need to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Hitmen make less money, but they don't promote them either. So let's be honest, it's all about the Flames. BC Eric writes in, he says, we miss the Wally Buono era. Well, of course. Do you want to address that as a Lions fan and a Vancouver guy?
You know what? I do miss a Wally. But at the end of Wally's career, it's funny because I'll see Facebook posts pop up on my memories, and I was like, Wally's done. He needs to go. At the end of his career, he was done. The game had almost passed him by. The old way of playing football doesn't work in the newer age of football. You can't treat the players the same way you treated players back then. It's the same as hockey. You can't treat players the same way as you treated players back in the day. So do I miss it? Of course. I'm an old guy. I'm 60. I'm getting ready to retire. Of course I missed it. I miss it. But I'm enjoying the Amar Doman era. I just want to see a better. He's put so much money into this team. I want to see a better return on his money for wins.
Well, it is the longest drought in the CFL for being in a Grey Cup. The BC Lions have it, and it goes back to the Wally days. I'm a Wally disciple, and it's funny because I used to hate him. I don't think he really liked me too much, but that was just a professional rivalry. Since I've got to know him, since we both got out of the CFL, we've got huge respect for each other. We got to get Wally on the show here again. But like you say, when it's time, it's time. And to be honest, he could have still been a GM and not been a head coach. I don't know. You're a Lions fan. You know more than I do about how he treated players. But I know a lot of guys that have played for Wally that have nothing bad to say about him. Like he reminds me of Kelly McCrimmon in Vegas. Do your job, you won't have a problem. Period.
Right?
If you don't do your job, we're going to have a problem. Right? And I like working for guys like that because I always do my job.
And you know what? Every place we work should be like that. Do your job, we won't have a problem. Don't do your job, we have a problem. It's simple.
I know.
But
I know.
unfortunately,
That's how I have.
that's not the way it works.
Yeah. No, that's why I have a bit of a problem navigating in today's workplace world because I don't kiss ass. And it seems like the guys and gals that do are the ones that are up at the top and have the longest careers. I can't do it. I can't do it. Tony from Cochrane writes in. He says, I think Kevin the Medium should be promoted to Kevin the Ultimate. Just saying. How about Kevin the Extra Large, not Kevin the Medium?
You know what's funny? When I first started being a medium, I wanted to use that. I wanted to use the extra large medium, but it was already taken.
That's awesome. Scott in Vancouver says, yes, Buono was an old school guy, kept players on their toes. Yeah, but hey, nothing lasts forever. As we know, nothing lasts forever. NHL, NFL, and a little Blue Jays on the way, and then we'll be saying goodbye to our good friend Kevin the Medium. We got a sports update and viewer takeover on the way. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, podcast, and 1700 Mission Radio.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
RP Show continues. Hour one brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications. They are a PR company where creativity is a way of life, specializing in strategic communications, leadership training, and clear conversational content that motivates your audience. Look them up. Outlaw Communications. Okay, I'm moving my topics around a little bit here in the Quick Six Show topic. Kevin the Medium with us. It's our final segment with him. The Toronto Blue Jays play this afternoon in the finale of their 3-game series against the Houston Astros. After taking the opener in 10 Tuesday, Toronto fell short of making a comeback last night in a 3-2 loss. Kevin Gausman will take the mound for the Jays this afternoon. Christian Javier gets the start for the Astros. That's point 3. Point 4, NFL. The Washington Commanders are paying a visit to the Green Bay Packers tonight in Thursday Night Football. The Commanders ended the matchup coming off a 21-6 win over the New York Giants last week in Week 1. Meanwhile, Green Bay is 1-0 following a 27-13 victory over Detroit. I'll be talking way more of this later on. Mike Kelly's going to be with us in hour 2. But I'll ask you this, Kev. Being a Vancouver guy, did you grow up a Seahawks fan, or do you have an NFL team?
I do. The Seahawks are my NFL team when I do watch it. I don't pay that much attention to the NFL. If it's on, I'll watch it if I'm home. I usually work on Sundays, so I'm not home for most of the games. I did go actually out with a buddy of mine, Kelly, and we watched the Monday night game, which was kind of fun. We sat at a pub, and it was loud, and it was over the top, but it was the NFL, loud and over the top.
Yeah, of course, right? And Week 1, I don't know how it gets better for the NFL, but it probably will. That's the way the NFL is. But we'll be spending more time on that next hour and way more time tomorrow on a Football Friday, which Kevin will also join us for this. But I'll say this before I get to the Sidney Crosby talk and updating the poll question, which has to do with Sid. You are a huge, huge Vancouver Canucks fan. And I know we don't talk enough Canucks on this show, but every time you're on, we do for that reason. You talk about them a lot on the Hughes Sports podcast, your show.
Of course.
I have them missing the playoffs this year.
We heard that. We heard that. I don't know if you heard Jake's reaction to you picking them out of the playoffs, and I think you actually picked them to finish last in our division.
I did, yeah.
I think I heard that. I think we got the clip, actually. He wants to have a discussion with you about that.
I'm available.
He was quite offended. He's an irrational fan, worse than I am, if that's possible, when it comes to his Canucks. And you know what? I'm going to agree kind of with him. I don't do that very often. If anybody's ever watched our show, they'll understand why. But I think the Canucks are going to have a bounce back year. Will they tear it up like they did 2 seasons ago? Probably not. But I'm guessing 96, 98 points, making the playoffs. Maybe that first wild card spot. I'd be happy.
Okay, well, here's my thinking. Number one, because I'm hearing from a lot of Vancouver sports fans that are watching on Game Plus television out there. They enjoy, now that I think about it, they're sick of Canucks talk because of Sportsnet 650. They love the Lions talk. But here we are talking about the Canucks. But anyways, what is the deal about Quinn Hughes quoting Jim Rutherford, Rutherford saying that Quinn wants to play with his brothers in New Jersey, and Quinn's like, ask him about it or what? Like, Kev, you're not even in training camp yet, and there seems to be some dissension there. Number one, that's a concern for me. And number two, you got a new head coach in Adam Foote. So you're starting all over again on a culture thing post-Rick Tocchet. And I think that's the toughest division probably in the NHL. Come on, Vegas, Edmonton, L.A., Calgary I think is going to be in there. Who are you going to get ahead of out of that? And two, you have a bad start. I don't think you can overcome it. That's what I see.
This whole Quinn Hughes thing is Boulder Dash. There's my old-time word for the day. It was a off-the-cuff comment. I believe the quote was, of course, Quinn would love to play with his brothers. Who wouldn't? You have 3 brothers playing in the NHL. Of course they would want to play together. Does that mean Quinn Hughes is going to leave the Canucks? No, it doesn't. Come on. Quinn Hughes is the Canucks. He is literally the face of the Canucks right now. He's not going anywhere. Will the Canucks try to bring one of the Hughes brothers over? I'd like to see it. I think it would be freaking awesome. But to say it's going to be the cancer in the dressing room again, like it was with Miller and Petey, no, it's not. It's not a deal. It's a nothing burger.
Okay. Well, fair. And again, I'm sitting here as geographically as far away from Vancouver as you could possibly be on this continent, right?
Yes,
So I'm
you
just
are.
following a little bit of the news of what's going on, but not real closely. And I appreciate you straightening that out. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, he says, I'm shocked Kevin would have a favorable view of a Canucks season. LOL. Well, he is an irrational fan. Michael
Says
Fleming
the
writes in,
Stamps fan.
right, exactly. Michael Fleming, viewer, writes in, he says, how old are you guys? That's a personal question. None of your business. Didn't anybody teach you any manners? The poll question is to do with Sidney Crosby, by the way, and will he be a Penguin at the end of his career? Because I'm seeing this. I talked with Moose. Was it somebody I talked to about this? I think it was Scruffy on the show yesterday, and I said the NHL speculation and conjecture is worse in Canada than any other league anywhere. And to be honest, Mitch put me in my place and said, no, it's not. Look at Aaron Rodgers' drama with the NFL. And okay, it's probably true. But I feel like this Crosby stuff is all made up. And the poll question is brought to you by EMJ Marketing. Connect with thought leaders and industry experts through EMJ Marketing Speakers Bureau, emjmarketing.com. 60% of respondents saying, Kev, he will end his career as a Penguin. But what are you voting?
I had looked at the poll before I came on. I voted yes, he would. It just gets over the top. And Jake loves to get into speculations on trades and where this guy's going. And it just drives me crazy. And we had a long talk about it. We're trying not to do it as much on our show. It's like the McDavid talk up the road here in Edmonton. It's like, of course he's going to sign with Edmonton. He's not down here. They're like, oh, we should be showing them all over Calgary. And I'm like, he's not signing in Calgary, people. He's going to sign in Edmonton. And Sidney will retire as a Penguin. Come on. It's just that easy.
Well, to be honest, I had a friend. I don't mind now. We're out of our old roles. He was the owner of the Arizona Coyotes. He was a part owner of the Arizona Coyotes. And he said, we're going to get Sidney here. We're going to show him out, bring him out to Phoenix and show him a good time, take him out on the town. I'm like, he's not going anywhere. And this was 10 years ago. You know, he wasn't going anywhere then. He's not going anywhere now. It's hard to really get a guy to leave a team unless he's dying to leave, for one. And Sid's won 3 Stanley Cups there. He's an icon in that town. It's not to say the guys don't leave. Like, you know, Ray Bourque, Jerome McGinley. Were you in Calgary yet when he started chasing the Stanley Cup?
Yes, I went to bed one day. He was a Philadelphia Flyer. The next day I woke up and he was a Bruin. It was really a confusing time here in Calgary.
Well, and so, you know, back to the speculation and everything. I'm with you. Like you say, your son, Jake, who you do the podcast with, enjoys the speculation. I frankly hate it. I see it as a waste of time, and I'd rather spend time talking on leagues that are playing, i.e., the CFL or the Blue Jays. But there's a big segment. Our old producer, Clark, my God, he went to bed dreaming about this speculation. Will he, won't he, in the NHL? But it just, do you feel like it's too much? I get the sense that you do.
It's way too much. I mean, if you talk about listening to the 650 down in Vancouver, it's all speculation. It's literally, that's all they seem to talk about in the off season because they have nothing else to talk about. There was, especially this year, there was nothing happening in the NHL. So, it's way over the top, in my opinion.
Before you go, we got about a minute and a half. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the Lions are a bad team with a great quarterback. Do you agree with that?
No. Do they need help in different positions? Yes. The receivers are great quarterback. Their defense needs help. When you score 33 to 35 points, you should be winning every freaking game. That's just a fact. You can't let teams back in the game like they did last game. This is a must-win for BC. I'll be the first to say it. If they don't win this, I have a feeling they won't make the playoffs.
Well, it's
lots of time to travel.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the game, Ottawa at BC Friday night. All the games are good except for that Sask-Montreal game, but the Riders fans will love it. If they roll Montreal, they'll still think that's a good game. I'm a fan of tight games, you know.
Yes.
But that's just me. All right, Kev, great job, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll delve even more into these games.
Sounds good. Talk to you then, buddy.
Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast, good enough to ride shotgun with us. He did his mic on today. He did a great job. We got a sports update and viewer takeover on the way here on Game Plus Television. A sports update and